Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Above the Bar podcast, where each week we belly up to the bar with a new guest, find out what they do, who they are, and what makes them great. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. Alrighty, folks, welcome back to the Above the Bar podcast. It's your host, Sean. We have bellied up to the bar today on December 3rd. If you didn't realize it, you've got about 20 some days left of shopping. Not that the major retailers haven't been telling you since Halloween that Christmas is coming. And I guess, one of the two of us on this show is going to have Christmas here real soon, depending upon how the rest of the NFL season goes. And we were just talking about that. But he does have one redeeming factor, even though he is a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. I found out he has a whiskey collection, so we can always talk about that. So joining us today, we're going to be talking about why do most entrepreneurs fail to lead themselves first, which is such a big problem with entrepreneurship. So we're going to be talking that today. Joining us all the way from Pittsburgh. I'm sorry. Choked as I said that. Go Ravens. I try to get that out again. Joining us all the way from, God, I'm going to get it out. So he's somewhere in Pennsylvania on the way other side near West Virginia. It is, listen, Alex, this has got me all messed up. I even almost forgot one of my own little bumpers and everything. Joining us all the way out there, and I already going to jack his last name, but it's Alex Kuhn. Let's see how it's a musician. You're the musician, right?
I mean, my 3-year-old likes to hear me sing. That's pretty much the only one. So
there's a musician. Oh God, why am I forgetting his name right now? And I actually love his music. I'm having a brain fart, complete brain fart. But we're going to be talking about this because it shouldn't matter what musician I'm. Noah Kahan.
Oh yes.
Yep.
Yes.
So we're going to be talking about leadership. How does this work? Why shouldn't entrepreneurs lead themselves? If you're just joining us, make sure you're giving everything a like, share, follow. I know it sounds cliche, all those things, but trust me, that is how social media works if you didn't know it. See that? Somebody's already given us a heart. Who is that? Oh, it's Lisa Marie. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. And look, if you're looking for a haunted doll, contact Lisa Marie. She has haunted dolls and would probably be more than happy to share one with you, but she knows they're not allowed to come to my house. So real quick here, folks, as always, we got the big board over my right shoulder for Sticker and a Cause. If you got something you believe in, something you're supporting, maybe you have your own podcast, your own program, some type of leadership deal, whatever it happens to be, make sure you're reaching out to us on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, X, all those different locations. You can find out what we got going on. Let us know what that program you got going. Our website is theabovethebarpodcast.com. Our email, theabovethebarpodcast@gmail.com. We'll go ahead and we'll get that sticker from you. We'll read about you live here on the air so everybody can know about you. That's how we grow things around here. That's how you get an opportunity to grow with us. So make sure you're doing that. And then we got to talk about our sponsors, and that's Budget Blinds of East Greenbush, Hudson, Cooksaki, Schoharie, Delmar, and Clifton Park, all places that Alex has no idea where any of them are. They're out here in the Albany, New York area. We live in I live in New York where nobody knows, sort of like when you tell people you're from Pennsylvania and they're like, oh, you live in Philly?
Philly or Pittsburgh. Yeah, basically. Yeah. And I think they're so close too, by the way.
It's they're right next to each other.
Right next.
They have no idea that there's nothing but coal crackers in between that entire area. Can you tell I lived in PA?
I can feel it there. So yeah, I mean, pretty much like State College, like right snap dab in the middle there. So that just separates us all.
It's the only thing. So make sure you're checking out your local Budget Blinds. And if you're here in the capital region, they are doing a sale for the month of December. It's 25% off all motorized shades. That's right, folks, 25% off motorized shades. So if you reach out to Budget Blinds of East Greenbush, Hudson, Cooksaki, Schoharie, Clifton Park, Delmar, any of those locations, and you let them know that you're there to belly up to the bar, besides the 25% off that they were already going to give you, they're going to give you another 5% off that. That's right, folks, 30% off of motorized shades. So make sure you're reaching out to your local Budget Blinds, see what they've got going on. But if you're here in the capital region, let them know you're there to belly up to the bar. All right, Alex, we're completely done. All that's done. So let's see here. I got to ask this first because I didn't have this piece of information, so I'm really curious about this. You had a promising Division I NCAA coaching career. In what sport?
Swimming. Swimming was my
Okay.
sport. Even though I look like a wrestler, I look like I'm
You definitely do.
see, if you see me, I am 5'9". The truth of the story is that I'm 5'9". I was that kid that was so good in high school, and I got to college, right? And my first meet, right? My first meet, I realized because I was a sprinter, and I realized 6'5", 6'6", 5'9". So I realized I needed more length and distance. So, but yes, swimming was my sport. Man, it's still a passion. I mean, it's still a passion. Like when you're a sports coach, and anybody that is a sports coach, like, I got a 6-year-old right now, and like, he's in the wrestling, funny enough, talking about the sport. And I don't know. You just feel that competitive spirit. It's like the dads out there that you just
Oh
know,
yeah.
like, oh my gosh, it brings back those days. And of course, what do? I try to get into the pool and swim like I used to. And of course, I tweak my shoulder and oh yeah, 43. That's right. I forgot.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that. We actually had talking about coaching. I can't think of her name right now. It's been a couple of years. We actually had a woman on, and I'm curious how, because she went from swimming, and I see this a lot with athletes. We go into sales because of that competitive edge that is sales. But she was a swimmer, and I got to ask you a question. This is something we talked about on the show. Oh, wait, real quick. Everybody, if you see Cody, tell her congratulations on getting married. She's now a Miss
Yeah.
something. She got married. She got married in Africa. She
Oh
went
my,
to Africa and got married.
oh my gosh.
Cody
Congratulations.
runs a website that's like Tinder for elephants, but she's going to yell at me here in a minute because that's the way I.
No, that is a new one. I got to say that.
She like does this thing where like she helps. They pick an animal and they like dedicate like a time frame to help them out. So their first one was like this male elephant getting back with this female elephant in this like elephant sanctuary. I thought the wedding was in Mexico. She said, no, it was Mexico. Ha ha. Thank you. Oh my God. That is not what I do. Yes, it is.
Africa, Mexico. It's like Philly and Pittsburgh. We talked about this earlier.
It's the same idea. Same idea. But one of the things she said, that this woman, and she swam in college. Her sister swam in college. They all went to the same college. She said her worst meet ever was her last.
Same.
Do you know why she told me it was her last?
Why?
And I'm curious. Actually, you tell me why you think it was, and I want to know how this has worked to help you today, because I think it has, and you didn't even know.
Yeah. I know it did. Actually, what I think it really did is it changed my career trajectory like that. That's what it actually did. So my last swim meet, I had Olympic trial aspirations, national aspirations, and it was just the slowest time I swam in 3 years. So when I think it was like the worst meet, and I don't know what she said, but most swimmers know you're training for one meet, right? It's not like football where you can stack wins or something like that. Your whole season comes down to one meet. You're tapering, you're training, you're doing all the different things from super compensation and scientific terms and all these things to get to the point where you're supposed to swim your fastest. And if you miss it, you feel it. You can feel it. You can feel the weakness. You can feel your cardiovascular isn't there. And I just knew it. And it just broke me. So I always tell people that what it really had me do was, instead of taking the management position at Nike that was going to pay me hundreds of thousands of dollars,
wow,
or taking the job at the NSA, that was another big job. And I was in Maryland at the time. I took the $20,000 a year assistant swim coaching position in Iowa, in the middle of nowhere, where I didn't know a single person. I had never visited my entire life. That's how it changed my trajectory for sure. And it's a blessing in disguise. I say this too.
And so what hers was? She said she knew it was her last meet that she would ever have. And mentally, she was so broken by that she sabotaged herself.
I could see that.
And she said it's a big problem with a lot of athletes is when they realize there's no more after this one, that they sabotage all this greatness that they've had before. It's interesting. Cody says, I got married in Mexico. I helped different conservation projects. First one with elephants. Love you. See? And then she said, Nathan said it's Animal Planet After Dark. And And then I just want to scuba dive and snorkel better. I suppose swim lessons could help with that. They probably would. I think that would make sense. Water, it's kind of one of those things that work in that. Nathan laughed at it. And then Iowa has amazing popcorn Freddy's. What the hell is a popcorn Freddy?
It's just a place called Freddy's. It's got great popcorn. It's actually
Oh,
really
just like actual popcorn. It's not like
actual
not
popcorn.
shrimp
Yeah.
oh, okay.
Yeah, not really any super. It's in Iowa. There's an Iowa City and Cedar Rapids. You know, good
Okay.
popcorn, very good popcorn.
So you're out there, you're coaching, you're doing this. Gosh, I mean, hearing the career opportunities that were being swung around at you, you know, all these different opportunities. Why walk away?
Oh yeah. Well, there's a few things, right? I mean, like there's always these like aspirational stories we want to tell, but you know, there was always this little like inner demon that, you know, our families always kind of did this entrepreneurial thing, but never really quote unquote made it big with
Right.
it. That was always kind of in the back of my mind. But the truth is that, you know, I was, you know, for maybe a little too cocky when I say this, but I was a pretty damn good coach. We built a 3-conference championship in Iowa,
Wow.
took over a dormant program that hadn't had a winning season in 20 years. And we actually finished second in the conference, got a lot of national coach of the year recognition, moved to California, took another dormant program, built that up, started getting big offers. And the thing is, Sean, it's not like college football where, yes, you're working all the hours and all the budgets and all the fundraising, all the alumni, but I was paid at my top end $60,000.
Oh,
And I remember this to this day, that our team just literally had the best season in years. I got my $7,000 bump in pay. I was ecstatic, feeling great. Our football program got, you know, another average year, and that coach got a $75,000 raise. And I just was like, listen, I loved it, but financially, wanting a
right.
family, just it was never going to happen. So I just said, if I don't get out now, I'm going to be in this for the rest of my life, and probably would love it there. But at the end of the day, you know, I had some bigger aspirations just for my life in general.
It was, you had your looks like a duck, quacks like a duck moment, and just knew that you were riding a duck at that moment.
It's hard. I think we all like have these things sometimes where it's just like you can do it for love, but you also have to ask yourself like how far do you want that to go? And the truth
Absolutely.
is that I just liked working with people. So like really at the end of the day, I was like, all right, let me find my next path.
So now, did you have a family at this point as you like had this great season and walked away, or were you single?
No, I had the blessing in disguise where I thought I was actually with the person I was going to marry. And so it was like the
Okay.
perfect time to go back to Pittsburgh. I was like, you know what? She's going to Carnegie Mellon. I can go back to
Oh,
Pittsburgh, get a job. And then of course, I always say like the entrepreneurial journey always kind of teaches you who's your who's. And she was not my who. So
mhm.
it was kind of that blessing in disguise where it's like, yeah, it like broke my heart and all those things that, you know, an entrepreneur that struggled at some point loves to share. But the reality is that not having to be there with that situation allowed me to kind of start figuring out what I really want to do with my life as an entrepreneur. So, and obviously who I have now today.
And that I'm always curious about that. So then you came back to Pittsburgh. You're listen. See, I knew it. Nate, there it was, brother. I told him it
Come
was
on,
coming.
79 North, Nathan. Come on out there. So
Oh,
I'll
God.
get you a Manny Brothers sandwich. I got one right
I
down
will
the
say,
road.
I want to try. I want to try. It's Permanthi, right? Permanthi Brothers. Is that it?
Manny's. Yep. Yeah, it's
I do want to try that.
for Manny's. Yep. It's delicious. It's
I,
fantastic.
I'm down. I am down for that one. So you know, you always wonder why they don't do like a pit beef sandwich versus a Permanthi sandwich between the two coaches, because that's really like, we love our pit beef. But so all this happens. You go back to Pittsburgh. You get a job. You're working. You meet the woman that you're with today. I always like to ask entrepreneurs this question. I think this is a most telling conversation about successful entrepreneurs. When you decided that you were going to pull the trigger and I'm going to go off and do this thing on my own and be my own person and build Born to Lead and work all this and tell your significant other, hey, you know that steady paycheck that's been coming in? Those benefits that I've been getting. You know how you like to go to the movie on Friday night? Yeah, that's going to pause for a while. What was that conversation like, and how was it received initially?
Well, the funny thing is that the woman so I actually, funny enough, after that relationship ended, I always tell people I've had, like, usually you hear these stories about somebody having this big break and it's awesome and it's great, and then they have one down and then all of a sudden they rise back up. I had two of those peaks in my life. So as an entrepreneur since 2013. And so I the thing that I've my wife might have a different answer to this, but my answer has always been this, is that I've been so hyper focused that there is just literally no other choice. And that's what's just going to happen. And thankfully, I am married to somebody who is very much like me, that we like to invest in our kids, in our future, in a lot of things. We're not very like high, like we like to spend a lot of money there. So I'll spend money on some whiskey, some good whiskey there, which I know we talked about there. Some good gym equipment. I got a pretty awesome home gym there. That's some good stuff.
Frank
That is
August right there.
but honestly, it's just really, I think that at the end of the day, you can have simple tastes or simple enjoyments there, but I think when you end up doing work, a lot of people I work with there, the work is the passion. Like, the work they do is the thing that drives them there. And a lot of the things that you think you want the Lamborghini or the great car. Most of them will say the same thing. It's like, it's nice at first, but really, what was worth it? It wasn't worth it there. Like, everyone wants to get back to the office.
I get that. So then we move. We decide we're going to create Born to Lead. And look, folks, if you're wondering what Born to Lead and you want to get a little more detail, obviously you can check out, and the ticker's running here at the bottom. It's bornleaders.com. You can check out what we got going on here. So make sure you're looking that up. You can also find Alex right under his name on LinkedIn. I always tell folks, if you're looking for professional stuff, start there, look at that spot. And then if you want fun stuff, go to Instagram. But it's all on there. So tell me a little bit about this framework that is Born to Lead. Like, where does it come from? How much of it is you? And I think most of the best leaders kind of learned it all from somebody else.
I think it's always the funny thing I always say what's great about the kind of the career path I took is that I didn't come from a corporate background, right? I wasn't some sort of C-level suite at a Fortune 500 company. The bottom line is that my leadership work was really based on working in the coaching field, like truly building the collegiate program. And so the funny thing is when I talked to a lot of leaders, the concept of this framework came from the idea that I believe there truly is a difference between someone who sees themselves as an entrepreneur and somebody who sees themselves as a leader. And if you're just an entrepreneur, this is not any disrespect to anybody who calls themselves that, but there's very opportunistic. We're going after what's the opportunity in front of us. Whereas leaders always they won't do work unless they feel like it's of good impact and of making a difference. That's always a driving factor. It couldn't matter if you tell them, hey, this is what Bitcoin's going to do over the next 20 years. Like, don't you want to put money into it? They're going to be like, well, what impact does it have on people? Like, you almost can feel them always wanting to shift in that direction. So the framework came from the idea of, like, from all the experiences of building these multiple college programs, that leaders need to build something different. And so that's how the framework came about, that more often than not, that a lot of the inside work that actually has to match the strategy, it has to actually match what you're building, it has to actually match how you're positioning there. That's got to be worked on as much, if not more importantly, and congruent with actually how you actually go out and work.
And I'm going to lean into your coaching background for a moment, because something that came to mind as you were saying that is, as somebody in your field, as somebody who really understands, you've learned that there's something just an entrepreneur. And I love what you said, that an entrepreneur is just chasing the dollar. A leader is morally chasing the dollar.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And I love that kind of look towards it. But what are some of the things that you've learned over your time that define someone as coachable?
When somebody's coachable, I think the first thing is that it's what's their level of interest to investment. So
What do you mean?
Yeah. So you and we could probably talk about football. I have a feeling for 3 or 4 hours, right?
At
And,
least probably.
and the reality is like we love it, work into it, etc. I don't know about you, but like I've got like a little subscription to read like Insider Steeler stuff, right? So there's an investment. But there's also Steeler fans I know that they show up, watch the game on Sundays. They don't do anything else the rest of the week there, right? So there's a different level of interest to also how much you're willing to invest.
Oh,
So the
no.
people that I find that are very coachable, there's a difference between want this, I like this, versus I need it, I must have it, and I want to make it a part of what I do. At the end of the day, what I actually find from most people that are really coachable is that how interested are they to want it? And more importantly, how much are they willing to spend on doing it? And as silly as it sounds, I find it almost every time. Anybody who is buying the $47 course, the $97 course, right? Two people buy it. One is just, oh, it's a great deal. Two is the person who's trying to learn about the person they actually really want to work with there. So, as funny as it sounds, I think coachability actually is nothing more than you making a decision on if what you actually want is worth you actually investing on. That's how I find it.
I like that idea. Like what's your true investment on getting this done? We've actually had some guys on that were like Division 1 football players, and the one gentleman actually told me he's like Murph, I had all the skills that all these other guys had,
Mhm.
but man, college partying and doing everything else was way more fun.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I'm like, really? He's like, yeah, now I'm trying to get into acting. He goes, but yeah, that was my change.
Yeah.
So so staying with this then, so somebody comes to you and they're like, hey, I'm really interested in your program, or I want to get into this program. I want to understand it better because like I do, I don't know if you know Ryan Blair. I
Mhm.
do Ryan Blair's altar
Altar
call.
call. Mhm.
I'm very involved. Matter of fact, before this, and it sucks because my podcasts are booked all the way out uh, to April. I
Mhm.
mean, you knew how long it took you to
Right.
get here.
Yeah.
I'm booked out to April, and all the calls are on Wednesdays at 7. My show starts at 8. So like 10 minutes before my call there is done, I'm like, "Hey, this is great information. I have to go now.
Yeah.
I have to leave this thing that we ain't gonna talk about what that runs."
Yeah.
But so somebody wants to get involved in your program. Yeah, Jermaine Lewis was on the show. It was actually a friend of Jermaine's that told us. Uh, so tell me a little bit about what somebody's getting out of your program and why it should even matter.
Yeah. So one of the areas we focus on the most, and I love what Ryan Blair is doing, right? There's just a lot of people, right? There's all these different niches or specialties that people kind of talk about. So where we actually, and like I said, this doesn't happen without my team. This doesn't happen without the people that are behind me, right? Because what I like to do is I like to get in front of people and speak all day. This is all I do, pretty much all day. But it doesn't happen without them. And what we actually realized probably about 2 or 2.5 years ago was that we have a very specific knack for not just the leader who's just the leader at heart, but the leader who's out in front. So the person who actually is the face of their business. That seemed to be really where we found a lot of our best clients and best people succeeding. So we made a decision about 2 years ago that say the only clients we are taking are people that actually truly are and want to stay the face of their business. They're not looking to try to build a company name. They're not trying to build this into some sort of equity piece there. They really want to just simply be the brand of the business. And obviously, of course, understand how to make more impact, but truly these are people that actually want to be able to continue to coach, continue to speak, to continue to serve, but also they want to be able to scale it. They want to be able to make a great living. That's who we've really kind of found. And what we've actually discovered when somebody works with us there, specifically in this state, is that they usually come in with two different problems than almost 99.9% of entrepreneurs. So, number one, they normally come in with a high level of perfectionist fear
What do you mean?
that when they are coming in, they want it because it's you. Like when
Right.
you put yourself out there, like one of the things I think when you and I are here, there's a part where we could flub what we say, we could mess up what we do, and we can be embarrassed, right? And so some people are, and that's really what people come in. It's like, well, what if I mess up that post? What if I mess up this? I want to get this right. So there's this natural fear of like, I want to get every single thing right, especially if they're trying to go and be somebody like the next Alex Hormozy or whatever name, that flavor of the month of, whatever brand that's coming in
I
there.
just finished one of his books.
Yeah, right. Which one? It's got 100 million something leads.
It's $100 million lead. Actually, it was. I think it was $100 million lead.
Yeah. So like, right. So there's this piece. It's like, you're out
He's
front.
from Baltimore also.
What's that?
He's a Baltimore guy.
He's a Baltimore. I do know. Yeah. Actually, one of my clients went to high school with him, as a matter of fact, there. I don't know if you know, fun fact, actually, I went to school in Maryland, like literally like right outside of Baltimore.
Where?
Little small school, Washington College, right?
Okay.
On the Eastern Shore of Maryland. So like, I'm familiar. Crab cakes, by the way. So I would take a crab cake over a Permane Brothers sandwich, which was probably going to get me shot in Pittsburgh.
That could be.
I will say it there.
But going back, I love the idea of this system. So you're really not looking for people who are like, hey, I'm working to build my exit, or hey, I'm looking to, you're really looking for people who are looking to build legacy businesses and in that legacy style. I'm curious and I know you mentioned it a little bit there, but to me, that really is the niche in and of itself, because nowadays you're told, build your business, get a PE to recognize you, sell out to them, but make sure you have an army of lawyers to read everything, because their army of lawyers is trying to do you dirty and take everything.
Yep.
You have a better army of lawyers to protect everything. So, that's unique, man. Why? That's why.
Yeah. Like, honestly, right. You and I, we talk about this. Like, I'm in my own mastermind. I can pick up my phone here, WhatsApp group of $700 million of net worth in there. Right. And I know they would say the same thing. And so I'll say it this way, and this is going to maybe even shock the Lisas and Nathans here. I actually believe that if you really want to build generational wealth, you want to get there faster, you want to get there long, in a quicker time and enjoy it all. I think it's better to build a brand-based business than any other business. And the reason why I say that is that most people, like, we hear the big exits, right? We hear the $700 million exit with this one company. But the thing about a brand is, and especially when it's you, is that you actually get to put together a community. You get to listen to your community. And more importantly, you get to move your business, which quite frankly is usually a cash cow. Like, you can build them as really higher profitability businesses, and then do what almost every investor tells you to, right? Put your eggs in a lot of different baskets there. So to me, at the end of the day, you can also then use your brand to create equity deals in other companies, advisory deals in other companies. There's a lot of things you can do when done right. We see this right now. Like, what does Ryan Reynolds, when he's in acting, truthfully know about business, but yet he's almost worth $1 billion now, or $500 million? Like, it's because why? It's because he is the face of a brand, and it presented him opportunities he would have not got if he wasn't a great personal brand actor, etc. there. And it can happen in any business. And if you do it right, and you don't have to be as famous as them. You can be micro niche. Like, I'm a micro niche, but in my world, people are like, you go to Alex if you're going to scale. It brings me great investment opportunities. This is how I have like 9 different passive income streams that basically support my entire lifestyle. There's lots of great things that come from it if you do it right.
That's interesting. So even within your own client base, you've been able to invest back into those folks with what you're seeing. I love the sound of that. So now we're born to lead, and then you create SuccessDNA. Am I tracking it right?
Yep, tracking.
So, what the hell's the difference? I'm looking at it. I'm like, what's the difference?
Yeah, one's our license. One's just our license model. So if you actually want to use our material and everything like that, it's called SuccessDNA.
Okay.
So that was basically it. And truthfully, it was just a legal thing, right? So we wanted to protect basically people.
What you were teaching.
Somebody's our license, right? There's a very different type of. And when somebody does that with us, like, there is really a different level of like responsibility, I feel, personally, right? If you're saying, hey, I want to buy your material because I think it's so dang good that I want to use in my business, well, I want to be able to invest a very different level of just not just into the creative and the material, but into that person and making sure their business succeeds as well. So that's really the big difference, between.
So is it, I see it's a client sales system, but is it like a regular sales system? Is it a, what exactly is it?
Yeah, so a lot of those people that actually will end up using it, they are already kind of in, we'll call it the creative space. They're doing graphic design, they're doing copywriting, they're doing, a kind of a piece of the puzzle that they're working with, kind of like the personal brand, the coach, the ideal client, but they don't have a system to help them sell and scale themselves. So
Gotcha.
my mission, very simply, of course, is obviously, we all have our missions, but like literally when I started business, I think for most of us, we kind of have I think a deeper meaning. And I just, Sean, like you can tell if a person's a good guy or not pretty quickly. Like, I think that. And I think we know there's a lot of crappy people in business, crappy people doing business. So I just said, I want the good ones to win. That's all I care about. That's really all I care about at the end of the day. So I was like, I'm only one of one. I need to put this into other people's who have great skills, who have great talents. And so that was really the impetus of creating that, was just to make sure that they had that skill set as well.
Yeah, see, sales systems is a drug for me. Like I tell people all the time, sales is my number one drug. There is nothing in the world more enjoyable to me than sales. There's nothing like it. Yeah, Nathan has his site, does graphic design. He does a bunch of stuff, but there's nothing like the sales drug to me. It's just nothing.
Yeah.
Like when you can have a full blown conversation with somebody and they're like, and the conversation starts off with, "I'm not buying what you've got, but you can," like one of those, the one I'm talking about.
Oh
And
yeah.
when the conversation's over with, he's ready to give you his daughter's hand in marriage and and the house next door. There's nothing like that drug. There's nothing. Um, with, and again, folks, if you're curious what Alex has going on, it's bornleaders.com. You can check out what he's got over there. Again, he's on LinkedIn, on Instagram. You can find him in all these different locations. So then, with all these different folks, all these different things happening, as you're building it, and I know we're kind of running backwards here, but this is
That's
the way
okay.
this is the way my brain works. So you're stepping out from, like, what was the first job in Pittsburgh?
My first job, my gosh,
When you came back?
Oh, when I came back, I was I was basically a little territory manager. Like I just worked with a small aquatics company and was just
Okay.
kind of overseeing the sales team because it was just swim equipment. So I kind of knew what it was there. I was just doing like a lot of hodgepodge things. I was giving swim lessons on the weekend, just a bunch of things, just truthfully, because I'm like, I don't know what to do. I'll just take this
Staying busy.
and that small job there. So we'll see what sticks.
So you're doing this, you're staying busy. Who's the first client that actually says, "All right, Alex, here it is. I'm going to listen to you." And I don't know what style you went with. You listen to all the different ones, and some of them will tell you, your first client, you don't charge them anything. The second one, you charge them 10%, and you build all these different models and everything. I'm the firm believer that you charge everybody, because you'll find out if they really believe in you or not. As soon as you say, "Yeah, I can do that for you. It's $1,000 a day." And they're like, "I'm giving you that." Well, then you don't believe in me. And then why are we having this conversation?
Yeah.
But who was your first client, and what was it that made them go, "All right, Alex, let's go ahead and do it"?
When I started, I did the typical thing when you want to do something, make a difference, and you're inspired by Tony Robbins and all these people. You say, "I'm going to help you grow your life." So I became a life coach. So
Oh,
it's
okay.
kind of like, yeah, as we know, clearly all the life coaches are billionaires, as we know at this point.
Oh, yes.
So obviously, I always say it was my first, favorite client. She was, and this was wonderful. I was in the BNI group. She was like in her mid to late 60s. And she just, she had a cookie business, right? And for anybody who knows PNI, I forgive me there, but it's like, it's always just like, a couple people that are very serious. And then basically everyone else is just filling seats
15
and
real estate agents, 13 insurance people, but everyone does something different.
something different.
I only do insurance for left-handed people that live on odd numbered houses.
I was a motivational coach, which I didn't even know what that was at the time. They said, "Oh, you're very motivational. Why don't you be a motivational coach in our chapter?" Because there was a business coach, life coach, something else.
Hey.
So, but basically, long story. This wonderful sweet lady. She's like, "You just make me feel really good. Like, can you coach me?" And I said, "Sure." And she's like, "Can I?" She's like, "What do you charge?" And I didn't charge a single thing. And I said, and I just did the old thing, like, "Well, what can you afford? I know being a small business owner is really tough sometimes." And she said, "Can I just write you a check for $25?" And I'm like, that sounds great. So literally my first payment was a $25 check that I remember, like, I made it. I did it. It's like, I am now a business owner. So, and I went and cashed it. And of course, what did I do? I spent all $10 of it at Panera that afternoon there. So
Well, that goes to my question, like for models for folks doing things similar to you or
mhm.
building or starting a business or trying
Yeah,
to become that face of their brand,
yeah,
you know, how do you recommend, like, again, like I said, with my business was an existing business. I think everybody knows I own the budget blinds in this area. I don't, I say it sometimes, but I always make it sound like at the beginning I don't own them, but I own. But my model was already existing,
mhm, yeah,
and people understand, hey, if I want window treatments, I have to pay for window treatments.
mhm.
Where I have a tangible item to offer to somebody. This is something intangible that you're offering that at this point, you have to prove. How do you keep that model moving?
Yeah, I want to tell everyone this too, because I want to tell everyone this is that because I think even saying what you should charge or how much you're worth, we
Yeah.
hear all these types of things. I always tell people the first and foremost is that when somebody pays you, it has nothing to do with your worth. It has to do with what they think you do and how much it's worth to them.
What
Because
they're
as soon as you let that go, you let go of like, oh my gosh, I'm undercharging myself or I'm not. So, right, $25 there today. Like I have one-on-one clients that pay me roughly 200,000 a year. So, like, just so everyone knows, it's like you can go as high as you want, and all these prices in there. What people tell you is nonsense. The difference, I think, is that, and Sean, this will go into your addiction of sales, right? I think it's two things, right? I think number one, and I think for everybody here, if you don't believe that your thing is the cure to that person's cancer, you're never going to get them to buy the value that it is. So I don't care if you are making, and this is a true story, if you are sculpting butter into farm animals and selling it to people, that was one of the businesses I used to coach, or you're selling, truthfully the cure to cancer, you better believe it's the most important thing in that world, because that person's going to feel how all in you are with what it is that you sell, what it is that you do. Which brings us to the second thing. And I think, Sean, you probably could give a master class on this. When you're selling, you're not trying to sell them to buy. You're trying to basically get them to understand that they are going to be working with you for a very specific time to get to a very specific result. And if it really matters, they better prove to you why they're committed to doing it there. You don't want to sell. You want them to prove what it is that you are going to take for you. So my advice for everybody is, like, when it comes to price, your price goes up instantly the moment you make those two changes.
You get it. It's the W's, the three W's. And the first one is, what is your worth? What do you feel about your self-worth when you're addressing other people, and they will feel that self-worth moving forward in the conversation. Absolutely. 100% agree with that. Uh, Look, somebody thinks that their self-worth is cheap viewers on Sunday.com. You kidding me?
I was going to say, that's what I want right there. Cheap viewers there.
Cheap
So,
viewers. I love people. They send me, like, on some of these streaming services, it's like, cheap viewers. Thanks, bro. I appreciate it. All my
no,
viewers are broke anyway. We know how life works over
I
here.
know. Well, yeah, I want the cheap ones there. So don't give me the
That's right.
expensive ones.
I don't just give me the cheapy ones. So as you're building this, when does this, go from, hey, it's a thing I do. And I'm always, and again, these are things I ask a lot of entrepreneurs is, when do you go from this is a thing I do to this is a thing I am? Because this is it.
Yeah. It has to happen before you actually make that money, right? I think there is just something that and by the way, Nathan, to answer your question, I am a ribs guy. So I'm a ribs and wings guy. So if you come to Pittsburgh, I will happily bring you some of the best wings place there. And Buffalo can tell me that they have the best wings. Sorry, Buffalo fans. My wife went to school in Buffalo.
Okay.
I think the big place in Buffalo, they're way overrated. But
You're talking about Anchor Bar. Anchor Bar is decent. You know, the best wings I've had out there was by far, bar none, was God, it was the cafes, the animal cafes. There used to be one in
yeah,
Disney. They had one of those in a hotel I used to stay at, and it was absolutely great. But I like Duff's. I like Duff's wings better than I do Anchor Bar's wings.
Duffs are better. I agree with that.
I like Duff's, but
I just still think I don't know. They're a little
yeah,
gamey.
it's a name. It's a name. You know what? It's like the Permanthi style sandwich. You know, you love that. You know, that's the standard. You come to Baltimore and you ask for a pit beef sandwich. I'm going to take you to Chaps because it's the standard.
Mhm.
Pittsburgh, Pat and Gino's is the standard. But if you really want a better one, ask somebody that lives there and they'll take you to a better spot than any of those places.
Yeah, I think it's always like that. There's always like these local places there for
Yeah, that
sure.
like the real people know about it. But getting into that, you know, you're saying, you know, you've got to commit to it before you make money with it. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, and this just sounds a weird thing to say when I say I don't know. I actually mean this like I don't know how anybody can decide to I want to be a great coach or I want to have a great business or whatever. It doesn't matter. How can you go into that and not saying like I am all in on this, like thick, thin, do or die? And I think there is this part where, as an entrepreneur, wherever you are, like I think you have to understand. You hear the stories. You're going to fail. You're going to make mistakes. Like everybody knows it. There's nothing crazy out there. The secret, and Sean knows this better than anybody. The secret is you got to stay in the game. Repetitions,
Yeah.
showing up every day, doing it when you're feeling like crap. Like I have a fever right now. Like, and so if I was a douche and canceled on Sean like 2 hours beforehand, like Sean's gonna be like, well, screw that guy. Like he just literally like, I've got this show. Now what am I gonna do? Like you show up. Like you show up. So I think there's just something to be said. This is not about work hard, hustle, grind, that all this culture stuff. That's just part of, I think, life. And this is just the best advice I ever got. And it's, from my dad. But the best advice I ever got is that if you really actually want to like your life and love your life and enjoy your life, you better like working. Like you just better like working. And so when you make this decision as an entrepreneur that I'm going to start a business, now listen, if you start a side hustle, you want to make a few extra bucks, go for it. But I think if you're saying like, I want to make some good money, you better be ready to go all in because it will be great, but it's going to suck a lot at the same time.
Before we get to our commercial break here, folks, I hate the term side hustle. I absolutely hate it. And I'll tell you why real quick. And maybe how old are you, Alex?
I'm 43.
Okay, so we're not far off. I'm 49. So every time I hear the word hustle, you sound like it. I'm like, so you're a criminal. And people are like, what? I'm like, listen, Ansel, the only person I ever knew that was a hustler, they were all trying to steal from somebody. So when you tell me, oh, I got a side hustle, so you got a side criminal business, what are we doing? You have a second job. I know it's hard to accept people, but second job, suck it up, buttercup. Some of us just have to have them. And then sometimes that second job, like Alex said, becomes your job and becomes your life and becomes who you are because you make more money at it. All right. There's my soapbox for tonight. Here we go, folks. This holiday season, don't just show up with a bottle that actually means something. Whether you're toasting family, gifting a friend, or just sneaking a sip after surviving another group chat, New Scotland Spirits has your back. Crafted right here in upstate New York, every bottle is small batch, full of bold flavor, and made with real local grain. No shortcuts, no fluff, just whiskey done right. So if you're stuffing stockings or filling glasses, skip the generic stuff and give the gift of something handcrafted. Head to newscotlandspirits.com and make the holidays a little bit smoother. New Scotland Spirits, poured proudly, celebrated boldly.
Ooh, looks good.
I'll tell you, it's
It's a good looking. It's a great looking bottle, by the way.
and well, I pick on the owner Jesse because he's a buddy of mine, and he was an Army officer, so he has to be abused. But this is right here. I don't know how much you like rye. I love rye.
I love rye.
This is a 6-year rye from 23.
Is it really?
And I'll tell you, it is. I'll put this rye next to Whistle Pig all day long.
Oh yeah.
And to me, Whistle Pig is the standard.
Yeah. Minor Case. I don't know if you ever had Minor Case before.
Nope, not even a Minor Case.
Great one. Great rye. It's because Whistle Pig is. I would have a Whistle Pig right in the collection there because it's always like one of the easy ryes to go to. Yeah. Exactly.
Barrel pour, 6-year barrel pour, and that's all that's. So let's get to tonight's question then. So our question was, why do entrepreneurs fail to lead themselves? What's your feelings on that? Why do most entrepreneurs I need to lead everybody else, and then they forget, hey, you're in the front?
Yeah. Yeah. I think the first thing is that all of us, I think there's a reason why I call our company Born Leaders is because I think most of us, if you really are a leader, you can look back when you were really young and remember a time where you didn't even ask. You went out and helped somebody. You worked harder. You did something. You didn't ask for permission. And as we move forward in life, right, we are put into these institutions. And this is not me bashing schools. It's just me saying that you're supposed to follow a curriculum. You're supposed to follow a plan. This is how you're supposed to go. You got to know these subjects. I think the biggest reason why most people don't do it is that at some level, they got trained to not decide for themselves. And so when most people go into this entrepreneurship, whether it's when they fail or something like that, I believe they have to get 3 things really clear before they really can succeed and why they don't. Number 1, who do they want to be as a leader? Truthfully, how do they actually want to show up and what exactly is going to be that value for themselves? We hear values all the time, but I think you have to pick one. Are you going to be the transparent one? Are you going to be the passionate one? Or whatever it is, you better pick the courageous. You better pick one. The second, not every leader is created equal. Just like we know why Lamar Jackson is a very different quarterback than Patrick Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers, right? They're all created differently. So you can be a leader, but look completely different, which means you better know what you're really good at as a leader. Truthfully, if you don't know, you better figure out fast, because if you don't know, I truly believe that yes, you can work as hard as you can, but it's a lot easier when you know what you're really good at and go deeper in that. And then last, but certainly not least, I think a lot of times when people fail as entrepreneurs, they tend to be told you got to go after the opportunity. Leaders need to go after what matters to them the most, because that's what they're going to stick with the longest. And I truly believe they'll win no matter the market, no matter the economy, no matter AI, no matter whatever comes up next. You will win because people will feel that level of commitment from you. And that's who people want to follow. They want to follow somebody who shows it and sticks with it and stays true to it. That's why most entrepreneurs fail and struggle to grow as leaders.
That's interesting. Do you think most of them had it when they started, and then as whatever they're doing grows, they kind of lose focus on it?
I think sometimes it's just easy that when you're by yourself and you're alone and you're starting something new, it's oh, I should do that. Well, maybe I should do that. Like when you get hit, you need somebody to tell you, just keep going. Who do they hear it from? They hear it from a friend who has a job. They hear it from a parent who's never started a business. Everyone's giving them advice. Their closest circle is people that have never built an entrepreneurial business. And that's who they're hearing.
E's and O's. E's and O's.
E's and O's. So you have to, if you're somebody who actually truthfully, you're an entrepreneur and you don't have a circle, I'm not saying go spend, $200,000 for one coach, but I am saying find an entrepreneurial community who has been there and done that, and listen to them and stop listening to your parents or your wife or husband or sister or brother or friends who have never done it.
Bro, that deserved the applause right there. It's so interesting. I got to tell a quick story. So I have a design consultant that works for me, and soon here I'm going to send him off. I always tell him, baby bird, you're getting kicked out of the nest here soon, and he's going to be doing great. I was actually just on my last call. It's been difficult. I built that all myself, and one of the guys on there was like, Anthony was like, look, man, let him go. As long as he's 70% as good as you're doing great with it. But what's interesting about what you just said is he wasn't my first choice.
Mm.
I had actually picked another kid. He's like 24, 25 years old. Good looking kid, spoke well, carried himself well, working as a bank teller. Brought him on with me for a day. I was like, hey, look, you can come do a ride along with me, the whole 9 yards. Went and did a full sales day with me. And his mother and his brother told him, you don't want to do that. That's a commission job.
Hmm.
That's a commission job. It's 100% commission. How are you going to live with that? Mom works for a big builder as an executive assistant. Great job. Brother is in the IT world working for somebody. And I tried to explain it to him. I was like, listen, man, that's your choice. But you do understand sales is the number one best paying job in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing pays better. And he's like, no, I'm going to stay here. He's still the bank teller.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so listen to me, folks. Get out there and go. Don't listen to people who've never done things.
Yeah.
Please stop listening to people who've never done things.
Yeah.
It will kill your opportunities faster than you can believe.
Yeah. And I think to even add on to that, you're still going to run into those people, and you better be willing to fight for yourself. That's the other thing. You better be willing to fight for what you see up here, even if nobody else sees it. That's why I like what you do with this show, Sean. And I think people need to hear that you are allowed to just go do this and find a whole new world. So great.
It's yours, folks. So what kind of things are coming up for you? As we just had our tender moment, folks. Between
where's the hearts? Like if I zoom, I could put a bunch of hearts coming down there.
So listen, don't even start, because I tried to do the Zoom heart thing. I try to do it all the time, and it fails me. Like I can do this one. Let's see, I can do this one. Is it not going to work today?
I don't know. Sometimes.
There it goes.
There you go.
And then you got this one. It might be. You got this.
Look at you.
You got this. Hold on. Let's see if this one works. There it goes. There's that one, and then there's this one. Let's see if this one works. And there you got that.
That's how you changed the color of your face when you did that. That was actually really
good.
Well, the other one, the rain, like it made you gray. I was like, wow, that made you like really gray.
But I can't ever get, this is the one I can never get to work. So you're supposed to be able to like put a heart on there.
Yeah.
And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't, and hearts will shoot out of it. But either way, bullshit. But it's interesting to me because I'm always talking about folks like, go do what the hell you want to do. And if you know you're not, and here's the other thing, folks, that no one's ever told you. As much as I'm going to go tell you, go do whatever it is that you want to do. And the day you feel like quitting, do another day of it. And the day you feel like quitting, go do another day of it. Don't go do things that you're not good at. Yeah. Please stop doing things you're not good at. I am not going to swim against Alex. I can do a hell of a backstroke. I can do a hell of a frog, but Alex is going to drown me. I'm not in any way, shape, or form a collegiate swimmer. I'm just a little bit of a fat guy. Fat floats. I'm okay. I'm not going to do that. Know what you're good at and figure it out, folks. And once you figure it out, you go find an Alex and you go to bornleaders.com and you find somebody like that can turn around and say, okay, well, we can mold this thing. And your skills as an underwater basket weaver and hamster milker and squirrel rustler or whatever it is you do, they can mold all these things and put these things together. So, and all this, they can find all this between your website, between Instagram, between LinkedIn, all these different locations. Any speaking engagements, any big things coming up, anything where people can be like, oh, let me go find this dude.
Yeah, I'll tell you just a few things I got going on. So just so everyone knows, by the way, too, is that yeah, I've got my one. Oh, it's cool to talk about my big 200K client, one-on-one clients, but like I think at the end of the day, like somebody gave me a break at one point financially, so that's why I have a one-to-many model, right? So any of you come in as a guest, like we run a class 3 days a week. I kind of in
Yep.
that swimming mindset where like if you something's really serious, you're doing it every day. So we basically are helping people build their model from the ground up. And it's like, if you show up every day, we're building something new and kind of helping you expand on it there. So you don't have to do that alone. But, just message me, Born a Leader, is like, come in, meet your team, meet your crew. It's fantastic. Speaking engagement, I got 2 coming up there. So I got one down in Houston. It's with a group called the Good Humans Network. It is February 25th through the 28th. Shout out to Catherine Brown, who I know will be posting this like crazy to everybody. It's a fantastic group. It's a great place. It's about 100 people, a lot of people in the marketing space, fractional space, very much heart-driven people. If you're very familiar with Story Brand, a lot of people that were part of the Story Brand, Donald Miller community are there. So I'll be doing topics on how to basically scale a referral system, how to actually build a content system there that actually gets clients, not just followers. And then last but certainly not least, actually how to create those offers. So I'll be doing that over 3 days. And then I'll be attending an event down in Arkansas, of all places, Arkansas.
Or Kansas.
Scale with Stability. Danny Gopert, shout out to you, you wonderful human being. I won't be speaking there. I'll be attending the VIP room, but I will be doing some things. So if anybody ever comes, you just hit me up. I actually am going to have trainings around the event there. I'm doing a VIP dinner for everybody, and we're going to have some fun there. So those are the next 2 things I got coming up.
Nice. How cool is Gary V?
He is awesome. He's great.
I got to meet him at New York City Comic Con.
He's great. Yeah, he's I got actually a fun story to tell about him. So like, and I think everyone knows this there. Like he's as real as most, we talk about there. But one of the things I really actually liked, so when I met him at an event, and like obviously, he's been a big influence, especially on me in terms of like how you just kind of speak. You don't think, you just speak. But the one thing I never knew, if you guys ever look at it, he always has this, like, he puts his hand like this on his heart, and he has like 3 up there, and it's like in honor of his 3 kids, right? So I always think it's like just this, like he just has these little things where he just pushes his heart out there, and he's sending messages back to his family and loved ones there. I just really appreciate that about him. So like he just has these little things that I think are really matter. Not this kid, his wife and everything like that. Forgive me. So not just kids, I'm thinking of another person for that. But the thing I hope everyone knows about a lot of these influencers is that they also put boundaries on themselves. They're not sharing everything with you too. So and so there's a lot of things there that like I hope everyone knows, like if you end up being your face of the business, then ultimately at the end of the day, like you don't have to put everything. You just get to put out what you feel is right for you. So
well, look, folks, again, go find Alex, go find him on social media, go check out bornleaders.com, see if what he's got going on fits into your wheelhouse, what you're looking for. As I always say, if you found me through Alex or Alex through me, it always sounds cliche, folks, but listen, like, share, follow the YouTube page, follow the Instagram, follow the Facebook, all those different type of things. It really does matter. And we're going to be keeping kind of this theme going. Next week, we have Kira Shishkin, and already Nate knows I'm going to be butchering that name up. Kira Shishkin. Kira is the CEO of Inform. Yeah, Kira is not only the CEO of Informed, but also someone who has navigated building companies in rapidly shifting industries. Her background as a serial founder includes turning early ideas into sustainable businesses, and her story begins, I love this, as a first-generation immigrant with both Ukrainian and Israeli roots. At an Informed, she works with accessible and simple for decision makers using a blend of human and AI input via text. Her approach is tackling information overload and finding ways to stand out. Excited to share with leaders and the news. Like, I love the idea. So we're going to be getting into that. I'm always talking about AI. Just a quick one before we close up here. I was just having this conversation with my best friend. We were talking about his kids and getting ready at a young age for school, I said, guess what? Stop teaching your kids how to work in an office, folks. It is already out there. We already know it's coming. 50% of your white collar jobs, entry level, in the next 5 to 10 years will not exist. Teach your kids how to use these things at the end of their elbows if you want them to make lots and lots of money. And then they can call people like Alex, who will then teach them how to keep that plumbing business, that carpentry business, whatever it is that they're doing, window treatments, and teach them how to take that business and turn it into a generational system, because that's what's coming. It's coming back, folks. Everything is cyclic. Now, Alex, I know you've binge watched all over 300 plus episodes of this. You are fully inundated with everything. But just in case you may have forgotten anything, and don't log off on me afterwards, we got to talk for just a moment. But
Sure.
the guest always gets the final word. So what is our final word for tonight?
Just one word or one phrase?
Whatever you want it to be. It's your
platform. Yeah, I like, this is just what's stuck with me today, everybody. What's popular is not always right, and what's right is not always popular.
Alrighty, folks. Be sure to push your stool in. This has been a Second Front podcast presentation found on Apple, Spotify, and wherever podcasts can be found.